Welcome to English Stories Unleashed, where real lives become powerful English lessons. Today, we journey through the dramatic, complicated, and world-shaping life of Mao Zedong, a man whose path led from a poor farming village to becoming one of the most influential and controversial leaders of the 20th century. This is the story of a life defined by ambition, ideology, struggle, revolution, and enormous historical transformation. Mao Zedong was born on December 26, 1893, in a small farming village called Shaoshan in Hunan province, China. His family lived a simple life, and although his father was strict and practical, young Mao was always drawn to books, ideas, and the invisible forces shaping society. While other children played outside, Mao often sat alone reading ancient Chinese histories and poems, imagining a China that was strong, united, and respected. His teachers saw a determined boy, quiet on the outside but burning with fierce conviction inside. As he grew, China fell into deeper chaos. Warlords fought for power, people suffered in poverty, and foreign nations controlled Chinese ports and industries. Mao believed that unless someone changed the system from the roots, China would never find peace or dignity. In his teenage years, he walked for hours to attend school because he believed education could transform not just one man, but a whole nation. He devoured the works of reformers, philosophers, and revolutionaries from around the world. He read about Karl Marx and felt electrified. The idea that ordinary people could rise and reshape history spoke directly to his heart. At 24, he left his hometown to explore a China full of political fires, student uprisings, and calls for change. He joined protests, organized workers and students, and slowly built his reputation as a thinker who not only understood theory but could inspire action. During these early years, Mao's life was full of hardship. He often went hungry, slept in tiny shared rooms, and traveled long distances on foot. But he believed that every difficulty he faced made him stronger and closer to his mission. He helped establish the Communist Party of China in 1921, a small group at the beginning, just a few people in a tiny building in Shanghai. Yet Mao felt destiny stirring in that room. He believed they could reshape China's future, even though almost no one else believed it. In the years that followed, battles, betrayals, and political storms shook China. Mao's strategies were questioned, and sometimes he was pushed out of leadership. But he kept building support among farmers, the people he believed were the true backbone of China. This belief led to the creation of rural revolutionary bases, where land was shared, literacy was encouraged, and hope spread among people who had suffered for generations. Then came one of the most dramatic chapters of his life, the Long March. Starting in 1934, Mao and tens of thousands of his followers began an epic retreat across mountains, rivers, and snowy plateaus, a journey of more than 9,000 kilometers. Many died from hunger, cold, and battles, but Mao's leadership kept the spirit alive. He would talk to his soldiers at night, reminding them that every step they took was shaping a new China. By the end of the Long March, Mao emerged as the unquestioned leader of the movement. The world had never seen anything like it, a march that felt more like a miracle than a military retreat. Years of fighting followed, first against Japanese invasion, then against civil war with the nationalist forces. In 1949, after decades of struggle, Mao stood before thousands in Beijing's Tiananmen Square and declared the birth of the People's Republic of China. It was a moment that changed world history. He believed China had finally reclaimed its dignity and could start rebuilding from centuries of weakness and division. But leadership was not easy. Mao pushed for massive economic and social reforms, some visionary, some controversial, and some disastrous. His ideas were powerful and ambitious, but not all were successful. He dreamed of a China where everyone was equal, educated, and strong. Yet some of his campaigns caused hardship and instability. Even his supporters debated his methods, but no one could deny the scale of his impact or the force of his personality. Mao was a leader who believed completely in his mission, who expected sacrifice, and who lived with the certainty that history would judge him not by mistakes, but by the transformation of a nation. In his later years, he continued to shape China's path, influencing politics, culture, and ideology with fierce determination. He often said that revolution was not a moment, but a lifelong process, something that had to be renewed generation after generation. He pushed people to question authority, challenge routines, and keep the spirit of struggle alive. Even when age weakened his body, his mind remained sharp, strategic, and deeply focused on the future of China. Mao Zedong passed away in 1976, but his legacy still shapes modern China. He is seen in many different ways, as a visionary, a revolutionary, a powerful leader, and a complex historical figure. But no matter how one views him, one thing is certain: he changed the course of world history. He transformed a nation of divided warlord territories into a unified state with a new identity. He left behind a China that would rise to become one of the world's major powers. His life story is a reminder that a single idea, held with enough conviction, can move millions, rebuild a country, and leave a mark on centuries to come. If you're listening to this story to train your English, let it also train your understanding of how determination, belief, and vision can shape lives and nations. Mao's journey, full of struggle, sacrifice, victories, and contradictions, teaches us that history is not made by perfect men, but by those who dare to dream boldly and fight relentlessly for those dreams.